everything. Those things will fall under the tree ordinance. They'll have to be replaced if they don't live for, you know, so long. Things like that, you know, we need to make a note of. But I think there are some issues that have occurred because this project took so long. It's been sitting here, and so many things were not done, kept up because of a lot of reasons, whether, you know, the failure of the contractor or the changing contractors. But you know, I think before the council, or before I can support moving this project forward by giving them an extension for the building permits, I want to see, you know, I know the neighbors are aware of flooding issues that have occurred and some problems that have occurred because of things that haven't been done right, and if there are any new conditions that need to be added, then that's what we need to take note of. We need to take note of things that already fall within the existing requirements, but if there's some things that have occurred because of things that were done incorrectly, I know there are down at the south end of this project, then, you know, those are things that I feel like before we can move this forward as it is, notes need to be taken about it. And is that what everyone agrees that we're kind of here for? Yeah, right.
That wasn't what I understood we were here for. I missed the council meeting last night. I guess I just missed it, but I understand the question about the ownership of the project.
Well, there's certainly that question, but that's not really...
Do we know who owns the project?
Same guy that has owned it all along still owns it. That's Hal Forsyth.
So he's still the owner?
When do I get my Cubs?
We are interested in following up on the property and looking at it. We have met with the bank on financing. Financing is approved, but it's also conditional with a building permit. It won't change hands until the building permit's approved. We wanted to come down and see. We've met with Ron Petrie to see what erosion control, deferred maintenance there was, or any problems on the property that needed to be brought it in compliance. I've invited my contractor to come down and kind of give me an idea of what these costs are going to be. We've estimated what we thought it might be, and so we're going to kind of look at it today and see what those items are. So that's Jay Larson and Jay and Bill here, our contractors. So.
If you become a new owner, is it your intention to complete the townhouses?
It is our intention to do phase 1 in townhouses. Phase 2 is probably going to be filed for an amended PZD, and our purchase is a joint venture between us buying phase 1 and somebody else buying phase 2. All the money that was set up for this has already been spent, and there's still $1.5 million left to finish it. So it's a huge cost overrun.
What does phase 1 encompass?
Phase 1 would be on this side of the river, creek.
Well, something I've always wondered, I live at 957 South Hill, and they put up a pond behind me that's level with my front yard. They built it on a spring, and anytime, if you want a basement on that, good luck, because there's springs down there, and the groundwater, you're going to hit groundwater when you go down.
Don't know anything about it. That's an engineer's response. He could that out.
Do we have, Hal knew about this meeting? Is he in town or is Hal out of town?
No, Hal knew about the meeting, didn't he, Ron?
I've talked to the attorney and told him, and I don't think Hal is in town. I don't think he's available. He lives in Chicago.
They have their problems this morning.
Chicago does?
Yeah, they had, last night they got hit pretty bad with this truck.
Okay. Well, now we kind of know what the intention of Broyles, Hank Broyles, and his group is.
Well, who's the potential partner we're talking about?
Campus Crest. Campus Crest is an apartment developer, and they do student housing, They're very successful in a number of different campuses. I'm just from memory, I believe they're on about 15 different college towns close to the campus, and they have a very good product that they do. And there's another company that's probably going to win it named Prestige. That's a big builder. I have no idea what their plans are. They have the highest bid on the table right now, so they may end up with it, but we wanted to come down and see what's left to be done so that we'd know what horse we're getting up on before we...
Well, now, it sounds to me like, I mean, if Prestige or Campus Crest comes in, they're going to have a different concept of this.
I don't know about Prestige at all. Prestige,
but I know.
Finish this
Yeah.
out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they would almost have to, or they'd have to go back and take it through a PCD again anyway.
Well, they could file an amended PCD on the back half and then fulfill the PCD on the front part. And they could amend the back half. I asked Tim if that was possible, and he said, yes, you can amend a portion of it that it has, but it has to go back through the entire PCD process.
Yeah, so I guess my question is, why is anyone really seeking this extension of the building permits?
Because without the building permit, we couldn't build the front half.
So you're going to build a front half just like it was planned,
exactly
which is
like
townhouse.
It was planned.
That wasn't student ever perceived or as student housing.
The first I've heard of student.
Our intent is to do our portion on the front half would be exactly as it was approved by the PCD.
Do you think that's viable to sell townhouses of that price to students?
Absolutely not. One of the reasons why I got out of the project initially, our argument was over the size of the unit. We felt like the unit should be 1,300 to 1,400 square feet. And my partner wanted 1,700 square foot units, and I couldn't go along with that. I was a minority partner, so he bought me out.
So you're going to downsize them?
We would be downsizing to smaller units. But exactly the same number, on exactly the same building pads, with predominantly the same plan. Parking underneath, the same thing.
But in all honesty, you know, students make a little bit more noise than older people.
What they're talking about is changing the phase 2 down by Kudenpile, across the creek, by us in Kudenpile to student housing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
I'm over there with you.
Well, he didn't really say that, but we are, and that's got to, of course.
That's a
But you
ball
realize
wax.
that's an uphill battle.
Oh, they know it's an uphill battle. They know. I have a feeling Prestige is going to end up winning the bid. The main thing about this meeting this morning is that no matter who is in my position, it's a chance to walk through and see what it is, get our updates, and have it no matter who the potential buyer is, so that we can.
Built here, really.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for, to go through, see what's going on.
Hey, there are some interest. People are using the walking bridge and cutting through campus and so forth the way they always did, but they had to walk on the railroad and cut through the trailer park back in the old days. But the trail, one of the things the neighborhood and Audubon and various people that were there expected the trail to be built on that railroad with the timber and the wildflowers there. Now that was all cleared, and maybe you weren't involved in when all that happened. And we're wondering, will that trail be completed soon? Because people do want to use it, and that means clearing the railroad. The railroad should be responsible for removing the railroad ties that they dumped 2 summers ago when they worked on the railroad. But
we've been in contact with them on that.
Are they going to help?
No.
Are they going to interfere with your doing it, or the developer doing it?
Oh no, they're more than happy for us to do it.
For us to pay for it.
Yeah.
So we'll all be
Or
paid.
can't we use those ties?
It's
You may
illegal to
be
use
able to
it in
use
the park,
some,
right?
but it's
Oh yeah,
a
probably
massive
so
stack.
But there's a
It is
road.
something that's
It's
a
massive.
sight to see.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Remember, we had to spend some money starting the trail right up here
Right.
because of the railroad. We had to get rid of a lot of railroad stuff. So that's, you know.
But these are in an awkward position.
But now the area you're talking about would be part of the parks. That would be part of the city, the Indian Trail.
The
no?
Indian Trail.
Yeah, the
Through
Indian
the
Trail.
tunnel and up to
Yeah, but you're talking about on this property.
This
This
side.
is area.
Like we said, we should probably move and
Yeah, but well, let's mention a couple more things.
Okay.
What
Brenda,
else
can I
was
ask
he
a
talking
question
about?
when we
Trail.
get a chance?
The trail never was intended to do on the bridge. It was only up to the bridge and stop.
That's all you guys are going to build. But
That's all that
the
was
value of it depended on having the tunnel cleared and the trestle.
Right.
Eventually,
Stick
that's
so that
going to
you
be
can
a
just pass
city
through.
to do that part.
Yeah, the railroad said they would allow for it to be opened back up as long as the city assumed the insurance responsibility for liability claims that could occur on that property.
So this development has done all they were supposed to do.
Well,
on
they
that.
haven't created a trail.
They haven't,
No trail.
they've done, I think, everything but actually paved it.
Oh, okay.
Is it marked off? You can't tell where it is because the ground we thought it was going to be on. It's gone.
So paved trail would still be something that would be within the confines of the original.
Of the first phase.
Right. But shouldn't they have that complete before they start building?
Just like the streets and sidewalks.
I think it's something we can discuss. Apparently, when it was approved, it was similar to the sidewalks, where you could build it as you built the buildings. Which I don't know if it's a bad idea, because if they go ahead and throw in that trail, it may not last through
The construction, and that's
the home
true.
construction.
That is true. So
It is kind of against the road there.
trail.
Okay, those who remember, you couldn't see very far right here, right now. But you can see the railroad and the people working here in the initial phase, long before you came here, Troy, took out all the timber up to the railroad. Now, the sound barrier that represented was extremely important to people living downhill. And if we're going to put condos or student apartments or whatever they are up there, those folks aren't going to like it any better than we do, because the railroad's higher. The railroad's lower than the neighborhood. It's tolerable, and even nice. You can wave at the brakeman and ride him on top when he goes by. I did that as a kid. But when it's up there, it's not a great thing.
Actually, people love the railroad no matter what height it is, and people live along it all through the city of Fayetteville, and you know, that's a developer problem. If they build a building and can't sell it, that's his problem.
Okay, but the point is, are we going to see a barrier? What is the proposed barrier?
The buildings themselves, I suppose, would be the barrier.
You don't have a sound barrier such as they have on the interstate on the plan.
I would think the building between you and the railroad track would be better than a tree. I'm just guessing.
Well, a lot of folks don't think anything's better than a tree, hey? You know, this is Fayetteville, Arkansas.
For years, I mean,
So
when the
We're on a
trees,
completely different issue now.
But no, it's part of this. Those trees were taken out, and we were asking.
Why don't we
that
try and
that be
proceed,
part
and
of
then
it.
you can argue these things.
Just a minute, Troy.
One other question I'd like to ask.
Wait,
the real-
Troy has a question
He's been
first.
waiting back here for a
Troy.
minute. Go ahead.
Hey Hank, there's a lot of contractors who've been out here doing some work that haven't been paid. As part of y'all's financing, are y'all gonna be able to get these folks paid?
Absolutely not. It had nothing to do with any previous work done on the property. If we buy it, we're going to just buy the loan from the bank, and then we have to assume all the work that hadn't been finished by the previous contractors to get it done. But we have no responsibility to pay off any liens on the property at all.
Is there liens on the property? I'm assuming
There are liens on the property, and they've been bonded around by the bank.
Is the railroad aware of that massive shift that drifted on that side?
I have no idea what the railroad's aware of. It's pretty hard to find out. You know, calling them is
Just
very
about
difficult.
coming in here and taking out the retaining wall.
Sorry, I was making these thing out for you guys.
You got a list?
Yeah, I got a list.
Okay.
Good, good, good.
Adele, Greg, do you have it in it?
No, that's all right. No, it ain't in the car, it's down
I
at
do
the house.
believe Prestige is going to outbid, so you end up with
Yeah, that's
what needs to be done on the property.
Well, you're
careful on those.
I'm okay. Hello.
Hello there,
I'm Adella Gray. I'm Brenda's cohort.
Cohort?
Yes.
Well, okay. She's a pretty neat thing. Look at this thing, man. I like that. Yeah.
She's taking up lots of sports activities.
Like that, sitting in the shade, with a fishing pole out. Hi there. Don.
We don't know.
I still do.
We're hoping you can see it. We hope
Well, it's only big
Are we going to walk before it gets any hotter?
Yeah, we got to move before it gets any hotter, but at least Mr. Hootenpaw did give us a list of
This
his
is only
issues.
around my property.
But still, that gets us started there. Where's Aubrey? Here.
Aubrey.
We need to start walking. It's getting hot, and you need to get back in your car. And
Where are you going to go to?
well, we're going to walk down through and get down to your place. So you go back
Sorry,
there.
man.
I'll go down there and come back around the other way.
Why don't you drive your truck down the street over here and it'll be down there.
Yeah.
This part.
but not to.
Right, it's supposed to go all the way across, and when it doesn't,
Well, but the
Then
fence is up over there. isn't it?
people do use, well, part of it, but for some reason.
It's only supposed to go
missing.
around the trees, though. It's not supposed to go around the whole property. It's supposed to. That's the
Okay,
construction protection fencing is supposed to go just around the trees that are listed by the city of Fayetteville not to be touched by the construction. So that's what that's for right there.
So-
that allows you to drive through here and drive through
Originally
there
they
anywhere
had
else.
the fence all the way across. Okay.
Well, let's,
This is phase one. I understand phase one.
is more or less complete. I mean, not more or less. It has been signed off as done in order to start building houses.
That's correct. Except there are a few things that you had put on your list.
Right.
I believe that there's some ponds that need some work done on them. And then there might be some stuff on phase two that has some silt deposits. And we were going to look at that to see where those were, what was necessary to get that off. But phase one, I believe, is signed off on as complete.
So that's what. So from the final, from building permit, Hank, can you not go get a building permit, or do they already have building permits?
I didn't know what the status was as far as getting through the city of Fayetteville. I was told it was being held up by city council.
Oh, no, it came to us.
Came to you, but it stopped on the second reading or something.
Yeah, but I mean, why did it come to us if it didn't need
Because
to?
of phase two, because they haven't
Oh.
from the infrastructure
Okay, so the whole
in order to allow the building permits.
On
for
phase
the,
two.
on phase
Phase
two.
two.
Okay.
Okay.
But this was a development that occurred before
This was never
the phase.
separated.
As far as the PZD, this is all one phase.
You remember that?
And they cleared it and we're going to do the infrastructure as all one phase. The developer decided to discuss it as phase one and phase two, but the PZD is written as all one phase. After that, we started to develop this, then go on to phase two.
Are you listening to that, Ron? Well, Ron was saying that the original PZD was all one. It was not
Well,
phased.
it was right. Everything got cleared.
Well, that's,
How long ago was that?
that's what I wrote, quote Aubrey was talking about. At some point, I mean, it wasn't just arbitrarily, this was phase one in the middle of the project. Something happened
Had to move
to
all the way,
officially
right?
make phases. Now, sometimes it's all presented as one package, but either on the plans or somewhere it's
Okay, that's
actually shown
it.
line.
Okay, and that's true.
That will have to, I can go back and find out for sure.
But here.
When it rains, Ron, at this point you've got erosion from all of this, and yellow mud runs down all the streets. And of course we pointed out at the council meeting 2.5 weeks ago that tree was one of the few trees left, and it's dead. And that's the result of being left alone. The only tree. The forest is gone, the single tree. Its roots are uncovered, the sun burns it. It gets no water retention. And that's why tree preservation is a weak thing if you don't do it in large enough parts.
a critical nature in these area inlet right here. Just absolutely no silt fence around, and of course, for all this erosion that's hitting that, those are what we got to do first, immediately.
Okay.
Around
No, you don't own the property.
Now we're just getting the list of what would need to be
Right.
done.
To start the project back up.
Are there more than one of these around it?
And they're scattered throughout.
Well, I imagine there's one right
On the
over
back.
there.
They're all in the
They bid this whole thing. Said they'd do it for a dollar amount, and didn't do it for the dollar amount. And now the project's in the condition it's in. It's very difficult, apparently, to get horizontal construction done on budget, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah, and I'm curious. I've heard both things now, and I didn't want to get into this and you brought it up. Now, did Howell not pay May and Company, or did May and Company not pay their subcontractors? Or
Probably some of both. I'm not privy to actual information, but I'm sure that when you have all of the money to do the entire development and all the money has run out and it's not finished, there are cost overruns from your contractor, and that usually is the biggest problem. There's more money than was planned for, and there's not enough to go back to the bank and get, and then you've got a business plan that now takes more money and more interest to finish, and you can't, the number of units that you had originally planned to put on it and build and sell, now that matrix no longer works financially unless you can get the bank to take a loss, or the construction company to take a loss, or the previous developer to take a loss. And usually to make it actually work, all three have to end up taking a loss. So right now, none of them want to take a loss. So there are lawsuits and a lot of things tied up right now with it, but Chambers Bank is the financier, and they've done a very good job. They've done everything that they promised to do, and they've fulfilled all of their obligations to this point. So they're looking for a new developer to come in, and they're taking bids, and we're one of them. So.
Remind me how many acres this whole project was?
29.
Just 29.
Plus this, which is about 2.5, so it's probably 26 acres here on the backside.
So not nearly enough for high school, because I think they're required to have 100 acres.
Boy, wouldn't it be great if we had 100 acres inside? The city could.
Can we go look at the first little detention pond right here, man?
All right.
Pictures from when it rains.
Okay.
Yeah, this actually is beginning to look like a rain garden, Hank. The thing that we talked about earlier, you remember when you came to the neighborhood meeting. And it's got willows and cattails and other native species in it. It's got, it doesn't have the good soil it needs to absorb all the water. This whole area was soil that was very absorbent. So the runoff is increased by the fact that that topsoil has been removed or covered in different places with the soil you see that's cracked and dry and easily eroded.
So what do you...
Well, this is an interesting thing, Brenda, because it looks like a rain garden right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the depth of soil in it that it needs to absorb water. And the outlets on these are all set so that at a level that it only has to rise about a foot. It doesn't take a whole lot of rain, then it's pouring out. The idea of the detention pond or the rain garden is to keep water on the land and let it soak in. So if it runs out of here faster, then people downstream are going to get flooded faster.
So what do you think, Ron? This needs to be deeper, or?
I mean, certainly it wasn't designed as a rain garden.
No, but it's grown up that way.
That's where all those houses were. The city said they have never changed one thing on these plans, but that's not the truth from the original plans I've seen. I've seen them change them in front of my eyes. They originally named these dry ponds. Then once they found out those two are on springs, they decided they would call them in and out ponds or wet ponds. Though that one's so on the end so plugged up, and you can never build a basement down there. So I watched them drill 3 different test holes over 3 different periods of time, and every time they hit water when they went down there. What a surprise.
We were going to look at down there.
He's talking about far this.
Well, the one before.
Change anything.
Pardon me?
I mean, the cities.
Well, of course, they filled in with silt since then, too, but I mean, that's not going to change the table of the water. It's remained pretty much a constant. You're going to see it at its lowest level today that I've ever seen it.
What does Bernacchi mean? That's Italian, isn't it?
Was Bernacchi a contractor, Hank? Subcontractor.
Oh, okay. Italian. Bad word.
Yeah, you see that? No, that's not good. See, we've had 6 weeks or something with no significant rain, so you see the mud line on that box. Water stood here consistently during the rainy season, so that it only would take less than a foot collected from running off this land to start it flowing out. So it didn't detain the water very long. And
how long is it supposed to detain?
Actually, it's supposed to detain the water and hold it if it got up too high. There's supposed to be some pipes set to drain it off.
Yeah, that's what.
They also
I'd say it's doing what it was supposed to be done.
The one that was going to save their bacon was the one behind my house, which is the worst of all.
Came out of there, and there was no spur there. Now, construction, they've used this spur to go over to our side. And of course, it's eroding into the creek itself. I mean, the more trucks go across it, the more problems.
There's an enormous conduit.
Where's the trestle? Where's the trestle at?
You ever go down and look at it? Oh, here. He's talking about the ones that they dumped. There's the dump they did down there.
Apparently, I'm going to.
You're going to now. It was easier to walk down the railroad track and see it than it was to go through here.
Oh, I can hear that train real clear now.
Hear the train coming. There you go.
Well, actually, Hank's right. Once the buildings get built here, that will buffer.
Well, certainly.
You don't want
The common thing right here.
This erosion is serious right here. You can see, and that does go to the creek. It doesn't go into the pond.
Because they have to make a big turn here and they make a big turn
so
down
that honk a
there.
lot.
They don't honk till they get up. This one they don't honk at all because they go across.
He's following.
They honk at 2
What is it they do? They don't honk.
They honk.
Whistle.
They whistle at 2 and 4 a.m. in the
They
morning.
don't blow the whistle right here because it's a trestle that goes across.
You realize where I live, up on that hill, and how far Greenland is, and how far that track is? That train wakes my dog up every night. I mean, it whistles all the way through. So I know they can, that sound can really scare it.
Well, sometimes when the storm's coming, I wait for that whistle because I think,
Going over that.
Well, some of the homeless people now, they left catfish
wonderful.
bodies that were pretty big when they were cooking and cleaning.
The good one's on the other side of the conduit, although animals won't.
Well, it is. There's a homeless camp on the trestle. Actually, they're the ones who put these.
You talking about from April till the end of May?
Yeah, we had consistent,
6 weeks.
frequent rains in there for.
There's a real
6 weeks.
morning.
Well,
The only
I'm not sure
time
what the
this
dates
drop
were,
was in that
but
3-week
it
drought
flowed and
period.
it didn't
Yeah.
offer any flood protection because
You don't have to
it was already
What was flooded?
the creek was underwater for 3 different times this spring, 3 different times last fall.
No, not a moonflower.
11th Street, so you can imagine.
What, had water on top of it, or this was all the way out over the top and
No,
flooded
this
on the
was
top?
not over. I'm talking about the street, 11th Street. This is the new street that you're about to acquire.
You can see how hard it
you've got
rained though
this
by
high
the
enough.
gravel on that sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it took it right off that field by the Moody's.
Yeah, when there's nobody around, there's no maintenance. You can't,
I know.
you can't keep anything going.
But I talked to Mr. Ashcroft about this. You're going to build ponds or you're going to build mud? And he said, no, I'm going to build good ponds.
Makes a branched out tree like
That was
a good pond to you. I know it's subjective.
It is subjective. It doesn't seem like a pond with a water feature in it, which was the original design, was to have water in it year round.
Well, they did put in some feed lines on that one down there and this one too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't quite as
Getting up the roots, but it's a slow process.
To me, this is just they dug a mud hole. And it was funny, the day he was down here, they come down there and pumped it out dry right before he got here from Illinois.
Oh, really?
Rachel.
I watched him do it.
When did he do it?
One day when he came to inspect down here, and his men came and just pumped it into the creek.
That's why.
I mean, it was soft and wet. Anybody with two eyes could see what had just happened.
She had long blonde hair.
That way they could say it was dry.
Probably was Rachel.
Or
Nomi's
half
girl
hour
to run around here
that he was there.
It's lower than this land. The Moody property is lower than this. Previously, it was a nice drop-off and a beautiful row of big trees right through here.
Okay, that's your...
And that land was higher. Now the water on that side is going to stay over there and actually flood their backyard.
Yeah, I can see that.
Have you asked him if it's been flooded?
Oh, I've seen it flooded. They've seen it.
Okay.
I'd like to see it flooded.
I haven't.
I don't believe everything you say.
Move to the neighborhood.
I don't know. Hank said that there's supposed to be inlets along the, but I don't know.
I think Ron is saying.
Oh, Ron?
Is there supposed to be inlets?
Plans sitting in my car up there, but they're about 100 pounds.
Well, you can see it's kind of a swell.
That box.
Yeah, filled on fill dirt.
Got filled.
This is all fill dirt. That, as I said, that land was higher than this land. This is all fill dirt. You see what happens when you pour in concrete on fill dirt.
They probably have a truck backed up on that.
Well, they probably did that too.
The box is not pulling in from that side.
What they call it, a burn or burp or something. And they put that on Easter Palm Sunday 2 years ago and promised they'd come back and clean it up. And they never have. And we'll go over there and look at what they did, the small platform and the black one. But this is clogged up. Water will not come in or out of it at this time.
Wouldn't go through, so it just backed up.
And it's full of silt. And see, they built this level with my front yard on Hill Street. The exact elevation. And the water used to flow back, because I know about aquatics and the Romans, but I also know which way water flows or anything flows.
Well, this whole thing.
Yes, sir.
This whole thing was
And payday's Friday.
Oh, you don't know as much on Friday, you're brighter on Fridays.
Well, I always heard two things on construction.
Oh, Friday the earlier
Something flows downhill and payday's Friday.
Oh, and today's Friday.
But if you come over here, you can see their solution for our drainage.
He's trying to point out that his backyard and it's not draining this way. Can't see it. You can hear it.
Peanut, personally, I like hearing them trains.
Well, now, see, you have trees.
No,
you still have the trees.
Very facetious. These are
Yes.
only trees.
Well, there are these trees for the upper echelon of these buildings. There still are these trees. On the other side, there are none.
And they come back and push it all up, and it goes on down this street. Does that look like a real good drain to you?
Is that your yard over there?
My yard is right back here. This is the Blackwells. This is one corner of Martha, and see that stake over there by that tree?
Yeah.
That's my other one.
What? Specifically, what is the issue in your property?
Well, okay,
Well,
see,
this is blocking water getting over here. It's kind of grown up. I can't.
well, I know, but you can also see how the dirt is higher than
Blocking water.
than my property. See, look right in there. Look anywhere along it. We'll walk down it if you want.
Doesn't all the water go this way?
That's what the plan was. It's Broyles to flow down that way. So far, you know, God, we haven't had the rain like can hit Arkansas. When the worst does happen, good luck to everybody downstream. But I talked to them about this at the time in Link. And they did put it, they came back in and put what you're talking about, a sprinkler thing, a line over here to go into that pond to keep it stirred up. So it'll look a little prettier, I guess.
Yeah.
What's your last name?
William.
It is treated there.
That's not proposed. I mean, that's proposed.
Well, the guys from May said they seen the check, one of the checks, the first check. And Hal wrote out to May, but May never retained that first check. Eventually, I think they found it out. They didn't for a while. That's what caused the first part of this. Whatever caused the rest.
They hear that.
Coming down this track.
Or if you don't like that, this train don't carry no gamblers.
I like it. Sometimes it's a little too close, though.
That train is never
Best way to get over to-
supposed to go past
Yeah.
5 miles an hour
What's-
right up there.
what-
Because that's an area that
If
slides out.
anybody can
And
get
then I
on
heard the
that
city was
bridge,
gonna let them
you'll
go
see an
50 or
enormous
60 miles an
slide
hour
over
coming
on
through
that
there.
bank.
Yeah, that's a dirt pile they actually created.
getting on that bridge
There's
and
a lot
off
of
of
slide
it
from the railroad.
They were going to do 30, they approved 35 miles an hour going across Dixon Street.
Okay, we're gonna.
that's the only
we
place?
need to try
You
to
want
get
to go ahead
to
and walk
Right up
across
here, they're
his
not
yard
supposed to
and
do
send somebody back for the cars? Who's the administrator when she came out that, well, somebody keeps moving the fences. Somebody was, but it was the guys wanting to
Here's
do
a bunch
what
of
they did.
concrete crap.
left over.
Looks like the tree administrator ought to know where the fences are.
Aubrey.
Pardon?
Call the radius.
Well, I think the main guy lives in Missouri or someplace.
It's the wampus of the
Doesn't he have to come
bumpus.
down from Missouri?
The tree administrator?
Oh, not the guy here in
I'm
town.
here to
I mean, the
show.
main guy.
Everything loves this park out.
Somebody's phones are ringing.
Not mine. We're moving to the shade.
Look at these, the fences and so-called where the park is. There's no way these trees are good. Look at this. Here's the tree canopy. There's the fence. I can't believe
This
these.
is the road. And this is the cutout portion of the road.
Yeah, it's cut
Well,
out.
now,
That's
Aubrey
why I-
said that part of the park is back in here.
Well, it's
Let's
on
look
the
at-
other side of that
let's
road.
look at a plan.
See that thing right there? There's
Yeah.
supposed to be two or 3 feet. Building this high.
Bring them. Now it's just keeping them all from flying.
Yeah.
A large picture, I think it's going to help.
What's that?
When I was buying these plans,
Map?
planning outfit, yeah.
They're $8 a sheet, I think.
So, there's the park. Well, see these trees that were here? See that drive? Well, there's a tree. I guess it's these trees. Where are the trees that's shown here?
They're there, just in that batch right over
Here's
there.
one of them standing right there.
The one in the circle is this one right here.
That's the one that's in the circle, so this is probably the other one. This is probably this one here.
With its roots all
there.
Well, there was 2 right here, and they did take one of them out.
Yeah, they did, you're right. But they've never changed the plans.
So, from, so this is the parking lot, goes this way.
Right.
And that was, we thought was safe because it was outside this. They took it all the way to the railroad, shaved it.
You know, that tree This is this place we're standing. That tree shows to be over in there someplace.
See, that's not even, that area I keep talking about railroads, not even their property.
It's not what?
But they
It's not
took the
their
trees
property.
off of it.
So why'd they cut
Did
it?
they or the railroad?
They took it.
Right.
No, they
We
did.
lost
they
it,
took it.
yeah.
They went up within 50 feet of the railroad's what they told me. Were they supposed to go within 50 feet of the railroad property? That would have put them out quite a little ways further.
You'd have,
That's why I was think that they had some agreement.
Well, the people who were building the silt fence were about to go straight on back through the World Peace Wetland Prairie until we said, wait, the plans call for cutting this way. Oh, they do?
well, they
Well,
actually,
those guys came up here from someplace
Right.
else.
Right, sure.
they didn't have plans
And
on
they
the
were
ground
going
most of the
home.
time. See, the guys that were actually bulldozing. So,
See, like here on this,
Great number of them
See that-
from
that big-
Oklahoma.
All
it's
the workers
barely on
were
the
from
edge.
All of them. But the
Okay.
guys that put the silt fence, I don't know where they
I
came
mean, that's the way it's shown.
They came from
approved.
Texas
They did.
yeah,
some of
They
them,
big-
Texas, Louisiana, the boss of that crew
or
was from
Louisiana. Yeah, maybe.
Why would Sarah
I was
approve
born
something
35,
that...
30 miles.
You're talking about the guy that put the silt fence?
No, the guy
No,
that
she
was
the first
crew
one?
that was working here. You
No,
know,
they didn't have
He's living
one
in
on board
Oklahoma.
when this
He's
got
got
Okay,
started.
crazy.
and
That's the problem.
then she didn't really
I got her
approve
cell
it,
phone.
or
I can't remember
she
what
came
it
out and said, you know, it's already such a disaster.
He's the one that
Probably.
said they hadn't paid-
Probably by the
they
time
paid
Sarah
July.
came
Yes,
on,
I believe
Sarah
that's
Patterson.
Apparently a lot of people
I mean,
haven't
from
been
the
paid
trees,
from what Mr. Broyle
these
said,
are all
they're not
were
gonna get
approved,
paid.
except for
Or
this
it's not
one
his
corridor
problem.
where the creek is. Back
Well,
there.
it looks like if he bought this,
Yes,
he would just automatically take that up.
Specific
One
areas.
might think, but he said
Very
that that's not
little.
the case. He said that they'll have to seek funds from Matt
Who's that?
the original owner. The guy that's
But you're
going
saying
bankrupt.
regardless of
That's
what
right.
happens
I
with
mean,
phase
Hal
one, phase
Forsyth
two is
is
gonna
his
have to come
name.
back.
So how are you
Yes.
gonna get
Well,
money out of
it's the one
somebody
we're
that's
looking
going
Unless
under?
they build it according to the plans.
I don't know. It's hard for
And
me
you
to
grant
believe
them the
he's going under.
extension.
He had a big business.
That'd be the only
a
way it
big,
could stay.
Real estate business up in
Right.
Missouri.
Well, I'm gonna get.
So
you
this is where
tried
we need
get
to
me
really
a
set
hush
some-
up about that
some
pond back there.
Conditions,
Well,
particularly
for
hidden
me,
piles,
He knows
issues.
the Cub owners are signing baseballs.
So if there's,
If I'd only be hush up, he'd get me some sign. He'd even
you
give me
may
a
want
sign
to
back.
consider just denying it.
can't
And it
use
has to
them.
come back through either way. I mean, it has to be the way to make sure that it does, no matter what.
That would be the simplest way. That way we don't have to make sure that they comply with any conditions that we set up now. I mean, if it comes, yeah, or something we do today, if it comes back, has to come back through. So we'll, I mean, it just seems like based on your recommendation and don't you agree, Adella? that
Yes.
Probably we just need to
Too many complications.
indicate to the rest of the council that this really just needs to start back over again. It's just set too long.
We're going to start back
Is
over.
there anything
At least the
that we
phase
can
two.
be done about the open storm sewer out at the road? I know we have several of them here.
That would be real nice.
It's, yeah, I mean, it's, and the problem is, okay, you've got now a developer who still owns it, who's in Chicago, who owes $1 million. Can I call him and say, come do this? He doesn't care.
Even
Not
though
right now.
I have no leverage at the moment to make him do anything tomorrow.
So that's not a part of the city deal.
But it is in that the only thing we can do at this point is come in and do the work ourselves and then charge him. That's
How
what.
can we put a lien on the property?
And then you would put a lien on the property
But we
for the
might
cost
never
of,
see it for
of-
another 30, 40 years.
Right.
Yeah, right.
City might as well
Just
own
like-
part of this.
Yeah, but
Just
before
like
they can
it
sell
is.
the
Involved in
property, Brandon, before they can sell the property, they have to pay the lien, don't they?
Possibly, but I mean the conversation at the top of the hill though, there's a lot of people have liens on the property that they're not going to get paid.
Right.
Apparently,
And then
so.
they're-
We're talking about the guys that bought the
The labor.
buildings?
Now
Oh, just the
The
workers.
contractor
The workers,
and
okay,
subcontractor.
okay.
But the difference being would be that if Mr. Broyles wants to do that side and it's contingent upon whatever the city does that he has to pay that, then maybe that would help
Well, as I understood, that's what the first contract was set up. They had to finish the roads here before they started over there. But maybe
But he wants to
I'm
just
maybe
do
wrong.
this route.
Yeah, I understand what he's trying to do.
The roads.
But make it contingent upon him paying it all.
Well, depends on whether or not he actually needs approval. I mean, what's before the council right now is extending the building permits on phase 2.
Would just refuse it.
That's all that's before us, not phase 1.
Oh, phase 2's before you now?
I'm not sure that's correct. I
Well, and
understood
that's
that it's
what-
dead.
That's what Ron is
check.
going to confirm.
Well,
You
make
got
them
that.
do what they were supposed to do. in
Well,
order to-
I think this would be better just to start this over.
But if they didn't start
Like you
by
go
Go ahead
all
with phase
back-
1 and do this over?
No, do both of them over, if we can. But Ron's going to check and see.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we can do that with phase 1.
In other words,
But-
my road may never get put in.
Exactly.
Well,
You know that was a city street.
but this is part of phase 2. Your part is phase 2.
Yeah.
But
We're going to stop phase 2.
But anybody
And we
with
can make
eyes
that a part
can
of
see
it
why he
when it
wants
comes back.
phase 1.
Pardon?
Anybody with eyes can see why he wants phase 1 and not this
I
side.
understand that, but I'm not sure what. Well, Ron is going to check into it.
Yeah.
Our city
Well, see
engineer,
if you
because
can make him at least put my back driveway in with phase 1 before he gets phase 1.
well,
Well, see, that'll change
hope
the
we can
draining.
do that.
That'll change your draining system.
I thought
too.
we were dealing with the entire project till this morning.
That's what
But
we all thought.
where'd you get the idea that that's not true? Because we were told it was dead. It was dead as of the end of
Phase
June.
one.
I'm saying phase 1.
Was approved, but they had not met the conditions started on time. Therefore, it was dead until
Well,
reapproved.
did they go get, is there actually building permits that exist today? And they've never followed up building
Oh,
it?
if they've ever started a building permit, that gives them some time.
But they never did.
We don't.
Well,
I don't
if they
know. I don't
apply.
know that for a fact.
I see.
I just don't remember.
I see. If they have actually got a building permit out there, then that gives them some time.
Well, that if he'd have done that, he'd have had the buildings up and been drawing money back in on this thing. He was paying $30,000 a month interest on what was out there. And he's been doing that for a long time. See, that's why he shut May off, because May was like a year and a half behind on their contract. It's a mess, man, I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why. I just don't know.
But while we're here, we might as well, I mean, obviously, we're going to stop phase 2.
Right.
But, I'm going to have it come, not.
And I'm gonna have a load of rocks put in there so I can throw rocks. That'll suit you guys. Will that comply with the city?
But we do need to come down and see. Yeah.
My water line freeze up a big